Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back. I so much appreciate that. Like I said, every case is important. And I think what happened to Lacey Peterson and her son Connor is very important considering, like we talk in the Wells case, it's a shit show over and over and over. Her mother hasn't probably had a good night's sleep since 2002 because her shit show continues because of all the drama surrounding Scott Peterson. So I'm going to see who's in here real quick. Well, hello, Aggie. That one ginger. What you doing? Hey, Deb. Hey, Katie Bird. Dodging bullets. What's up, my friend? Hey, Matrix. Outlaw Trucker. Hey, Cindy. Let me see. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. I say it all the time. Holly Beans. Hello. Hi, Superior Dreams. Hello. Hi, Kat. How are you doing? Kat said, is it still morning in America or no? Just turned noon. 12:03 here. 12:03. Outdoor Life 88. Thank you. Hello, Chihuahua Dotson. Hello. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub. Get reminded for when we go live. Would love that. So it was raining here earlier, and now it's just like really humid and just gross. I can't stand it. Oh, is Carla in here? Hi, Carla. I missed you. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm going to get to Scott Peterson. First of all, I want to address something. We talked about it a little bit in Discord. A few YouTubers, I'm not naming any names because it's their business, they are getting sued. And so you can say whatever you want in chat, but if I'm not so aggressive up here, it's because I don't want to go to the courthouse. I don't want to go to the courthouse. I don't want to get that summons saying, hey, you're not giving this person a fair shake, or hey, it might be your opinion, but they don't want to hear it every damn day. You know what I mean? What is that? Oh, good day, mate. I wish I had an Australian accent. I really do. That'd be awesome. Has everybody finished up their Christmas shopping, or what are you doing? I don't have time for that. No, I'm not going to get a summons to go down there because I decided to accuse somebody of something they haven't been charged with. But in this case, I will, and I'll tell you why. Because Scott Peterson was already sentenced to death. So he is scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. He had a beautiful wife, beautiful home, a baby on the way, and he threw it all away for a piece of ass. He did not like, probably, I don't know what was going on in their marriage from, of course, from the pictures, they say pictures speak 1,000 words, but do they really? Because some people just put up their own, they put up their best moments. So it wasn't like Lacey had ever communicated with anyone what was really going on. You're right, Dee Dee, just like the Watts. Just like the Watts. Just like Chris Watts didn't have the balls to get a divorce and move along. Instead, it's like, well, I think I'll just kill her. I don't think anyone's going to notice her. And what's always gotten me about Scott Peterson is he knew how close she was with her mom, her sister, her dad, her stepdad. She had many friends. Did he honestly think that people would just be like, oh, I bet it's that burglar you've been talking about in Modesto? Or, ooh, it could be those people in that black van. You're right, Dee Dee. Get a divorce. Get a divorce. Exactly. I feel bad for, especially, I mean, for Lacey and, their unborn baby. But I mean, what her mother went through. I mean, that woman almost had a damn stroke. If I read her book, now mind you, this case is from 2002. 2002. And you think the shit show is the Wells. This was before YouTube was a cesspool. Okay? This was before all of the Facebook groups that were putting out rumors and speculation. This was a true shit show that just dangled on human emotions and basically her mother's. One thing that was suspicious from the beginning, obviously, is that an 8-month pregnant woman who was getting ready for Christmas on Christmas Eve 2002 disappeared. He calls her mother, okay, and says she's missing. Not, have you heard from her? Is she over there? Instantly goes into guilt. She's missing. So hang on. I'm going to just get us up to speed real quick. I'm sure everybody has heard about this case. There's been books, movies, Dateline, 2020, you name it. It's been talked about for years because no one can wrap their mind around it. Dee. Oh, and he freaked out over being a new dad in his own mind. God forbid he ever shared his true feelings, but wanted to get with a woman with a child. He is a selfish person. He did, at one time, all the attention was on him. Everything. Lacey doted on him. She even forgave him for cheating on her when they first got together. And when the attention came off of him, he found someone else. And I'm not picking on Amber Fry. I don't talk about people's looks and things like that. How can you trade in a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, and a baby on the way for Amber? Okay? And Amber made quite a bit of money off this. Don't you think she didn't? She got a movie deal out of this. She wrote a couple books. Exactly. The world revolves around him. All right, I'm going to play this video real quick. Give me a minute. Didn't do too good on the last show playing videos. God, I can't believe I played the wrong one. Exactly. And that poor baby. Hang on. Where did my stuff go? Hang on. Certainly not playing 2020 because we know what happened last time. That was a mess and a half. Stupid. Yeah, exactly. Gorgeous woman, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not saying because you're a fortunate looking person that, I mean, you're a great person, but nobody in this case, not one person ever came out saying, oh, she was a real bitch to him or anything like that. No, nothing like that. There was nothing bad said about her. All right, here we go. Hang on.
Sentence. That's life in prison without possibility of parole. At the resentencing hearing here at the San Mateo County Courthouse, it will likely get very emotional in the courtroom as Lacey Peterson's family is allowed to make victim impact statements. Scott Peterson also has something to say. His attorneys say he will break his silence for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The hearing begins at 10 a.m. and one media camera has been allowed inside the courtroom. So we'll get a good look at how the last 16 years of living on San Quentin's death row has treated Mr. Peterson. The court is also live streaming an audio feed of the hearing, and we have a link for that up on cronford.com. Peterson was sentenced to death 16 years ago for the murders of his pregnant wife, Lacey, and their unborn son, Connor. The California Supreme Court overturned his death sentence because of an error made by a judge during his 2004 murder trial. There's going to be a big elephant in the room at this resentencing hearing. That's because Mr. Peterson is very close to being granted a whole new murder trial based on juror misconduct. Judge Ann Christine Mazzullo will make that ruling at a second hearing held in February. Scott Peterson has always maintained his innocence. To this day, he says he did not murder his wife. Peterson is currently an inmate here at the Redwood City Jail. He is likely being held in isolation away from the other inmates. I'm Amy Larson reporting for Cron 4 News in Redwood City.
All right, so that gets us up to speed. It was juror misconduct. There was one juror. Okay, so 2 were kicked out. And then 1 got to decide on the death penalty. But it turns out she wasn't truthful in her juror questionnaire. So anyway, also the judge had made some mistakes by instructions he gave to the jury about the death penalty. So he's been in San Quentin, like they said, for 16 years. That gets overturned. He's off death row. All right, so he was sentenced to life without parole. Now he's getting a new trial. A new trial. A new trial. Now, his sister, Janie Peterson, she's the mouthpiece, and she's the one that's been driving this train. I wish they would talk to his other sister, the one that he was hiding out with, when he sat there and looked out the window at the bay, knowing that's where Lacey and his unborn son was, and adding porn channels to her cable. She wrote a very telling book. Really wish they would talk to her and not Janie. I'm going to play a clip of Janie here in a second, and then we're going to have an open panel and discuss this. And I will say this. I know I just threw some shade at Amber Fry. She did come forward and she did help law enforcement. Now, according to law enforcement, they already believed that Scott was responsible. But everybody else was clueless except for Lacey's father. From the beginning, he was side-eyeing him. They all believed that she was seriously kidnapped. I mean, like I said, grown woman, 8 months pregnant. They really believed that something happened to her. They didn't fathom. They didn't fathom that she could have ever been hurt by Scott. I mean, especially with a baby on the way and everything. And think about it. This was on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Oh, Kevin wants to come up. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, everybody again. Hello, Brooks. Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Hope you're having a great day.
What a handsome suit you have on there. That's Scott Peterson. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, check him out. It's like, he's looking like, what?
He's been a real right POS since 2002. Because, I mean, Christmas Eve, he decides to murder her. He had it all planned. I've always wondered, why do it at Christmas? I think it's because his story was about to blow up and he was more afraid of Amber confronting Lacey because he didn't want to face that wrath. He knew a lot of people love her, her family love her, and he didn't want to face that music. I think
Yeah.
he was really afraid that Lacey was going to find out. Also, the prospect of being a new father. Uh-oh, I froze. Hang on.
You froze. Yeah. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but man, what a character he is. Sheesh. I mean, that is terrible. How I don't know how somebody can even dream that. I mean, and you're dead asleep. I mean, that's just, he didn't take just one life. He took two. I guess he thought no one was ever going to find her out in the ocean. Well, they did. I haven't been following this case for a long time. But I clearly remember when it happened. That's for sure. And I don't know what's wrong with StreamYard. Today, during the first live, like 3 or 4 times, I couldn't hear nothing. And my mic wasn't working and I wasn't muted. So I don't know what kind of problems Brooks is having.
We're having a storm here. I get kicked out sometimes.
What a Christmas.
StreamYard will do it.
What a Christmas present on the day before Jesus is born.
Yeah, and with a baby on the way. She had been trying to get pregnant for so long. And finally, she's pregnant. Finally, she's pregnant. Super excited. Had the nursery set up. It was either, like Blazer said, his arrogance. By the way, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah, I remember when they found the concrete dust in his boat, right?
Uh-huh.
And didn't he put her in a barrel? Or did he tie her?
No, actually, no, because they found her. She was in she washed up in Berkeley Marina, which he had a receipt for being there, which was really dumb on his part.
So did he tie concrete to her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I couldn't believe it. That was his first. I mean, wow. Yeah, I was just telling chat while you were gone. I can't imagine what goes through people's minds like that. I mean, that is just so sick.
It's a motive, means, and opportunity, and you got to have a reason. And it's always selfishness. It's always self-saving. It's a word I'm trying to say. Selfishness. Annette, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, Annette. Thank you.
You know what it's called? A big fat narcissist. That's what he is. I don't know. It's just unbelievable how people can do shit like that. Oh.
ICU, they believe she was strangled. And like, the Summer Wells case, a lot of people they were wondering for a long time. It's like all arrows were pointed at him. And it got to a point where, like, are the police going to do anything? He obviously did it. He's not even, he sold her car. He was talking to people about selling the house. He had all of these recorded phone calls with Amber while Lacey was missing. At one point, he said he was in Paris watching fireworks for New Year's when he was actually at a candlelight vigil for Lacey. Okay. So, all this stuff's coming out and people are like, why don't you arrest him? Well,
was he arrested before she washed up on shore?
Nope. What happened is Lacey and Connor washed up on shore he found out about it. He bleached his hair, had a bag full of money,
Yep.
and it looked like he was headed towards Mexico, in all honesty, because that was the direction he was going. And then they arrested him.
How long
Exactly.
was
Dodging bullets, 2 complete personalities.
how long was it before he got arrested after he killed her? How much time went by?
December, January, February, March. He was okay. In March of 2003, the police said it's not a kidnapping. She didn't run away. It's a homicide.
Uh-huh.
In April of 2003 is when Lacey and Connor's bodies were recovered. And then he was arrested shortly after that.
So it was what? How many months? 6?
January, February, March. 4 months.
Okay.
Okay, so his sister, Janie, is really pushing for this new trial. She swears there's all this evidence that's going to clear him. Not if Sharon Rocha has it her way. So I'm going to play this video real quick.
Hey, Kevin Bacon here. And I want to give you
Kevin Bacon.
a chance to win a fully restored.
My name is Janie Peterson, and I am Scott and Lacey Peterson's sister-in-law.
And was it an M or an N?
J-A-N like Nancy, E-Y.
Well, she didn't. Hang on. What the hell happened there?
I am a timeliner. I've always thought sequentially. So I think ultimately that was probably where it started with me, like, just trying to piece together the day. The biggest part of what we have in the Scott office is a timeline of December 24th. That kind of takes over one wall. On the board, we just have a very, very small representation of some of the cards that we've received over the years. And that kind of support is one of the things that's really kept our family going. One of the other reasons that room exists is also it really helped us compartmentalize this, because it can take over your life. After the trial, when I sat down to kind of piece together his day, I was actually stunned. I was already stunned that he was convicted on death row, but then I was further stunned at how full his day was, how there was no contradiction in it, and how it could be perceived that he had any time to do criminal activity on this day. And I think the verdict they made was an emotional verdict based on adultery evidence. I think the pile of evidence that showed Scott was an adulterer was used to convict him of murder. We have an innocent brother on death row, so the justice system doesn't always get it right. And we're still in the justice system. We're in the appellate part of the justice system, but this is a much longer path than getting it right the first time in the trial. It's a very long process to.
I've never understood what Janie's deal is. Okay, his parents got him Mark Garagos. They paid $1 million for his defense. $1 million. Mark Garagos couldn't get it done. I don't know why Janie, playing detective, putting together some half-assed timeline, thinks that she is going to get him a new trial and get him acquitted. That is insane. He has a receipt from the marina where she washed up. And yes, the jury was very emotional, but she seems to forget the judge in Modesto moved the trial to another county because they said he couldn't get a fair trial there because of the high emotion. Everything was done right except for a couple of jurors. That's the reason he's not on death row anymore. That's the reason. So that's Lacey in her Christmas outfit. Okay, she had to go to a party by herself because Scott told her he had to work. Scott was on a date with Amber Fry. Scott does whatever Scott wants to do. Scott is very, well, he used to be until he went to jail. He's very entitled. His parents think he does no wrong. Well, his mother's passed away now. Even though he had a good job and she had a good job, they always had to have their income subsidized because of everything that he wanted to do on the side, like country clubs and things like that. I mean, there was a saying in their circle. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Yes, Dee Dee, he was the golden child. Yes, the baby of the family. His parents, you know, they had marriages from before, so they were a blended family and had him together. He's the baby. He the little baby Scott. They believed everything he said. But there was a saying, and Lacey actually joked about it with people, and she would say, Scott does whatever Scott wants to do, and somehow it always works out. Little did she know that he does do whatever he wants to do, but someone else always pays the consequences. Oh, hang on, Janet. Janet said his sister Ann said yesterday she would testify for the prosecution if they retry him. Good for her. Good for her. And I love that she wrote that book and told people what his nasty ass was really doing when he was sitting there looking out that window, knowing that his wife and unborn son were floating around in the bottom of that marina. He knew it, and he sat there looking out the window. Absolutely. I'll show a couple more pictures of Lacey, and then we're going to get to something Scott said, which was... And if they do retry him, if he gets a retrial, I'm going to be talking about it every single day. That's them at their wedding. Her parents put on one of the most beautiful weddings. Everything so eloquent, so gorgeous. Lacey was head over heels in love with him. In love with him. I mean, she chased him till he caught her. I mean, and even though he's a total murderer, I mean, you know, yeah, I see you. Lacey did it all herself. She did. No, he didn't deserve her. Now look what he did to her. He's destroyed. He just destroyed everything. Yep. She planned the whole wedding. She did the decorations, everything. She was a huge, huge fan of Martha Stewart. Everything had a place. She liked all the little fine details of everything. She loved all the little fine details. The fine details she missed because she was doing everything she could to make Scott feel important and build a family is she missed one detail. She married an asshole. She missed that detail. And I am not at all blaming her because he definitely gaslighted her. Definitely gaslighted her.
Yep. He was a huge narcissist and a gaslighter for sure. Yep. And the other thing is, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to get another trial. So anyway, that's what I think.
I guess we'll see in February.
Yeah.
Because that's when he goes in front of the judge and she's going to decide if this new evidence, which, by the way, this new evidence we've been hearing about for years. Why is it going to be a big ass deal in February? And why would this judge in February consider it? I don't know what's really going on here. I get him going off death row because there was jury misconduct. I get that. Okay. I kind of wish the judge would have been like, hey, sorry that there was a couple jurors that didn't tell the truth, but you're still going to be in San Quentin.
Well,
He
yeah.
probably liked San Quentin better because there's more perks on death row than there are where he is. They put him back in county jail for a while. I know he didn't like that. I know he didn't like that.
All they got to do is, okay, we'll drop the death sentence, but we're giving you 99 years without parole.
Yeah.
He ain't never getting out of prison. And if he does, somebody probably whoop his ass. You know?
Yes.
So
people like that don't think about it. People like that don't think about it.
So is he going to, he's trying to get a new trial just to get off of death row or out of prison?
Oh, he's already off death row. He's already off death row.
Oh, okay.
And he got resentenced because of jury misconduct. And
All right.
so he got resentenced to life without parole. But
So
he's getting a new trial in February to clear himself.
Oh, so he's trying to prove he was innocent then.
Again, yeah, he is.
Okay, good luck, Scotty boy.
Good luck. Yep. And isn't that crazy that you know exactly what you did? And here we are, you know, your son would have been graduating high school this year. Your son would have been graduating high school this year. You're almost 50 years old and you still can't own up. That's why I said in the last show, when people say, you can't believe these people. Why do you believe these people? I didn't say I do. What I'm saying is criminals lie. That's the reason we grab the little nuggets out of what they say, because even the biggest liars will tell the truth at times. All right, I'm going to play part of this first interview.
Well, everybody in prison is innocent, right?
Yeah. Well, and like I said, think about it. Why do we have detectives? Because criminals lie. It's not like Scott Peterson called the police December 24th, 2002 and said, I've been having an affair, trying to cover it up. I'd rather be with that woman than my wife. So I wasn't thinking straight. Didn't want to go through a divorce. So I killed her. Oh, okay, cool. We're going to come pick you up and you just tell us all the details on the way to the station. No, that's not how it works. They lie. They lie. That's the reason the name of the channel, Crime, Lines, and Lies. These people lie. All right, I'm going to play this video real quick.
A task, to know to do a positive task, and try to focus on that.
I know that there are certain areas you can't go to. It's hard to go to the park.
It's hard to go to. Yeah, it's important though, because in the mornings when down there alone, I feel closer to her. Maybe that's a tip to communicate or something. But yeah.
And you mentioned right off the start that you haven't been in the media.
No. It was the first 3 days or so when she disappeared. It was an absolute privacy issue. Not showing the grief of our family, not explaining that. After that, it was a conscious decision to remain out of the media eye, decided upon by everyone in the family and the volunteers, in order to, and I'm sorry to say it to media, but to keep the media here, to keep them hungry for, an interview with me or a picture, so that they would keep coming back, so this story won't fall through the cracks as it.
He's an idiot. I couldn't believe when he said that back in 2002, that the reason that he doesn't talk to the media is because he wants them hungry to talk to him, so that the case won't go away and they'll continue to follow it. You can't manipulate the media, and you can't manipulate the police. That's why when you see people like Scott Peterson, like Chris Watts, like Barry Morphew, like Don Wells, like Candace Wells, like Letitia Staunch, you sit there and go, how can you be so damn stupid? How can you be so damn stupid? All right, I'm going to get to the rest of it.
This happened with other missing people, with other abductions. And it's up to the family to keep that going. So we made that conscious decision together that I wouldn't speak. Obviously, we did lots of media with the rest of the family. And to keep them here, I didn't. But unfortunately now, the suspicions of me have grown so great due to people, wondering what happened to the, inappropriate relationship that I had with Amber Fry, that it's necessary to speak its appropriate time to, in order to ask people to keep looking for Lacey, because they're not looking for Lacey as much as they should be right now.
Let's talk about some of those suspicions, because there are a lot of suspicions out there. I think people want to know, first of all, why would you leave Lacey, who was 8.5 months pregnant, alone to go fishing on Christmas Eve?
Okay. Our day was planned for, Christmas Eve dinner at our mom's house. Preparations were all made, gifts done. Lacey was simply going to be baking that day. And it's not uncommon for us to, simply, we have separate pursuits. She does not, play golf as I do, which was my other option for that day. And being, 7.5 months pregnant, she's not going to want to go out in a boat. But it was simply a leisure activity to pursue that day. And, it was what our plans were. It may not be everyone's choice to do things like that, but it's...
Okay, so let's talk about that. I don't believe for a minute that Lacey's plans, considering she's a big, like, Martha Stewart follower, Drew Peterson, loves the holidays. She had a million things to do. She was making gingerbread cookies that day. She was going to go to the store, get some more supplies. It was Christmas Eve. I don't believe for a minute that they were going to he was going to play golf, or that they were going to get in a boat. Lacey didn't know he had a boat. He told Sharon later he was going to surprise his father-in-law about it. Well, it would have been a surprise for Lacey too, because she had no idea that he had made this purchase. He kept it at work. That's where the cement and all of that was found. They even took that boat into the courthouse when he was being tried to show it to the jurors. This is her final resting place. Absolutely nuts.
It's the way that our relationship works.
I know when I approached you on Amber Fry, and I told you that I would be reporting that you had a girlfriend.
Right.
Your response to me is that you had no comment either way.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just come clean then?
Well, I'm glad you asked the question. It simply, wasn't appropriate to comment on it. And unfortunately, there has been a statement in the press that I denied it, which was made with another reporter when I characterized a National Enquirer article as a pack of lies. And I did so without reading the article, unfortunately. The article I thought to include, I know also included a supposed life insurance policy, supposed blood evidence, and I forget what else, but also included the report of Amber. So I called it a pack of lies, not knowing that she was in there. So it's just not important to comment about that. I'm glad that Amber came forward.
No, he's not glad that Amber came forward. That's the reason they have the recorded phone calls where he got a hold of her asking if she had talked to anyone. He wasn't glad about that at all. He mentions a life insurance policy. Because, this case is never going to go away. This case is never going to go away because it will never make sense. I've said almost 20 years, make it make sense. This was nothing more than selfishness and trying to get away with what you did. Shelby, I'm glad you're here. We got new people in here. Make sure you hit that sub button. And in cases like this, it doesn't make sense to talk about present time. I go back to the beginning, or I tell them what's going on now. Then we go back to the beginning. And his statements, he might as well have just said, I did it. And don't forget, his mother-in-law, Sharon Rocha, who is one of the most genuine, beautiful people you'll ever meet or see, stood up for this man. She even was on the fence when they said he was having an affair. She said, well, an affair doesn't make him guilty. She started adding other things up. And she said, oh, he did it. That's when she was talking about how he called her on Christmas Eve and said she's missing. Look, if my husband gets home and I'm not home, and it's been a while, and I'm not answering my phone, he's going to call people, hey, have you seen Brooks? Have you heard from Brooks? Not, she's missing.
Want me to turn that off?
Yeah, what is that?
That's my phone, unfortunately. I thought it was off. And I'll just answer that question again.
Okay, so let's talk about that part of the interview when his phone is ringing and he goes into the next room and he just turns it off. Your wife is missing. What if it's her? What if it's a detective? What if it's Sharon? What if it's her dad? What if it's her stepdad? What if it's her sister? What if it's her brother? Why would you turn your phone off? You have a missing wife. You want communication open at all time. That's some Candace Wells shit right there.
Somewhere here. Yeah, it's kind of going crazy, isn't it? Okay.
Hang on, there's an ad.
Yeah, so if you just want to ask your question again, I'll just...
So,
Hang on, guys. 1 second. Fancy, you're right. If my loved one is missing, I'm picking that phone up mid-ring. And he is. He's always been a real smug. Hey, thanks, guys. We got some new people in here. I love everybody being here. Thank you.
once again, if you can just talk about why didn't you just come forward at the time when I asked you if you had a girlfriend? Why didn't you just come clean then?
Right. At that time, it wasn't appropriate to comment about because it's not relevant. I'm glad you asked it because there were reports that I denied it. When I characterized a National Enquirer article as a pack of lies that included, unknowing to me, I knew that the article included this supposed life insurance policy bought this summer, supposed blood evidence, and other strange reports like taking the floors out of our home. And I didn't know it included this relationship that I had. So I characterize that as a pack of lies, and that's come out as a denial, which it was never intended to be. I simply approach that issue as it's not relevant, and there's no reason to comment about it. There's a reason to comment about the number. Now, I'm glad that Amber did the press conference. I'm glad that she came forward, because it allows lots of people, I believe, to start looking for Lacey again, because it's slacked off because of that, because there's suspicion about me.
She claims you deceived her. She claims
Amber?
that, yeah.
Yes, she did not know. She did not know that I was married. That is correct.
Because he did deceive her.
So I'm glad she came forward. I informed her that I am married, and of Lacey's disappearance shortly after, Christmas Eve. It was a couple of days after Christmas Eve. I don't know the exact date. I'm glad she did the press conference. I'm glad that's out there. It had nothing to do with Lacey's disappearance.
He was not happy about that press conference. Anyone that followed this case knows why. He was furious she did that. He never told Amber he was married. He actually told Amber that his wife, I think at one time he acted like he was a widow, and then he made up some story that his wife left him. She believed he was very, very, very single. Very single. Friends of hers started contacting her when everything about Lacey went viral before there was even that word. I mean, this was all over the national media. And that's when she contacted Modesto and said, I've been seeing him for a long time.
Parents.
Your stomach must have been turning, though, when you see her go on television and it's national. And here's this girl saying, he lied to me. He told me he was single.
Sure.
I mean, your stomach must have been turning.
You know what is a positive to allow us to go on to search for Lacey? That's how I view it, and that's how I felt about it.
The Rocha family
I said, good,
says,
this will be done, and we can keep looking for Lacey.
Now, Lacey's family says they can no longer trust you.
Mm-hmm. It was unfair and inappropriate for me to have that relationship.
How do you feel, though, that, the Rocha family says they can't trust you?
They're wonderful people, the Rocha family. I know that, we all have love between us. And I know that we'll all keep searching for Lacey. And, I told Lacey about the relationship. She knew about it, and it's important between us. And we'll continue to search for her. We'll bring her home.
That's another problem people had a big issue with. A lot of Lacey's family talked to me and friends saying, if Lacey knew that you were having an affair, she would have said something to someone. She wouldn't have kept quiet about it.
I don't know if she mentioned it to anyone or not. I did see a report in the news, an interview with a friend of ours, Lori, that indicated that she did not believe that I had told Lacey. Lori also said, I know Scott, and he had nothing to do with her disappearance. And that statement to me is what's relevant. Because you can,
Okay, Lori did say early on she didn't think Scott had anything to do with it. So he's switching up dates, and that's what people like him do. It's got to fit what they're talking about at the time. And Lori did say if Scott was having an affair, which he was, and Lacey knew about it, she would have told someone. Scott goes on to say, not in this interview, that Lacey knew about the affair and she was fine with it. Now, we've all seen pictures of how meticulous she kept her home, the swimming pool, everything. And tell me, do you think Lacey, Rocha, Peterson would have been okay with him having an affair? Absolutely not. This woman was doing everything she could to have a baby, have a family, make a nice home, and keep this sack of shit happy. Oh, Shelby. Shelby, love you being in here. Love it. Amber Fry has gone through so much because of him. She was made into a villain and was shunned in our town. And that's too bad because she cracked the case. They would have solved it. They would have solved it eventually. But you know what? If you look at the case of Suzanne Morphew, That would have been solved a long time ago if the guy she was having an affair with would have come forward. But he hid. He didn't do anything. But Amber, she did. She went through hell. And I am not going to shame her. I mentioned earlier that she got a movie, she got a book and everything. It's a small penance for what she did to help this family. She could have hid in shame and been like, I'm not getting involved in this. She could have. She could have hid in shame, but she didn't.
Question my morals and my poor decision making. That's fine. But don't stop looking for Lacey. She's out there somewhere. She shouldn't be. She should be with our family.
You mentioned.
So let's keep working to bring her home.
I know that you mentioned during the network interview that only you and Lacey know your marriage.
That's correct.
Explain that.
Just as anyone's intimate relationships, it's it's between those two people. And yes, you share things with people, and some things you don't share with people.
Now, did Lacey find out about the affair, or did you just come out and tell her?
No, I informed her about it. I don't believe she knew.
Why come out? I mean, what made you say, I'm going to tell her today? What made that day the day to tell her?
Just because it was the right thing to do.
Oh,
and
he did tell her
as
this
you know, when you're not doing the right thing, it just, eats you up. You feel, sick to your stomach, and you can't function, and you have a hard time, looking at someone.
Right. You mentioned it was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But from my understanding is that after you told Lacey, you continued to see Amber. Was that also the right thing to do? I saw her,
yeah. No, it was not.
Explain that.
That is the explanation. It was not the right thing to do.
But you continued to do it.
Right, and it was not the right thing to do.
I had no idea you could find this much on Ancestry.
This is my mom's yearbook picture from.
Yeah. And here we are almost 20 years later, and he's still saying he's innocent. And I agree. And an affair does not mean you're a murderer. I get it. But buying a boat that your wife doesn't know about, keeping it at your work with cement, supposedly you were going to go play, you tell your wife you're going to play golf on Christmas Eve, but instead you killed her, you put her in the boat, which, I mean, he had to haul her in that truck, put her in the boat. He had the cement and everything ready. This was planned. This was a good month of planning. Look at his searches. And mind you, this is in 2002. So why people in 2021 think they're going to get away with anything, they're out of their mind. Because they went through the searches on the computer. Yeah, you're right, Matrix. If you were innocent, you would be free by now. With new evidence, I'm not buying it. Exactly. Beverly, Scott told Lacey with his hands around her throat. Exactly. You don't like who you're with? Move along. Move along. I understand it's not easy. I understand it's painstaking. You're going to catch a lot of hell. I get it. But look where he's at now, and look where she's at. Little Connor would be, I think, a junior in high school now. Senior, graduating, I'm not sure. Because he was due to be born in January. So he'd be 18 next month. Right? Help me with my math. I'm terrible at math. Shelby, he said he told Lacey, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that either. If he told Lacey, Oh, hang on one second. I got to get out of StreamYard and get back. Oh, I see. Shades just said these murderers don't want to pay alimony and child support. Yeah, and that's a lot of it too. But like I said, here we are. I mean, 20 years later, a couple months ago, we were covering the Gabby Petito case. And I was talking about Lacey Peterson. And I mentioned other women. And I said, it's almost impossible to recognize the signs of domestic violence unless it's something like a bruise. You know, a woman's always got a cast on or something like that. Or men, it happens to men too. But when you have someone that is such a psychopath that they present the perfect life and they're leading a double life like Scott Peterson, this is what happens. And that's the reason, like, I mean, her own mother for the longest time was like, when she was getting so pissed that anybody would even mention Scott to her, because law enforcement already had it figured out. But she was constantly, no, he's a son to us. He's like a son to us. And how dare you betray that trust from her family who considered you a son? And Shelby, you're right. Innocent people don't run. I'm going to show that picture of what he looked like when they arrested his ass. Yeah, so why do you change your appearance? You can see in the pictures, of course, I mean, that's him now. He's almost 50 years old, and he has black hair, but he had dyed his hair. Rose, welcome to the channel. Welcome. I was due on February 10th. My son was born on the 7th. Scott is just so selfish. Exactly. And you're right, Matrix. Everyone's different behind closed doors. And don't let social media ever fool you. When everything looks perfect in a picture, that doesn't mean that's so. I'm not saying every picture's a lie. Yeah, he had tons of money and he was fleeing. He was fleeing when his wife and unborn son were recovered from Berkeley Marina. You would think, considering the interview we just listened to, he'd want to stick around and make sure there's justice for the burglar and all the other people he said could have gotten her from the park or right out of the house. But no, he didn't do it. Nope. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Don Wells, what are you doing in here? So if anybody wants to grab the link, come up and we can discuss this. If not, I'm going to wind it down because I'm going to cover this when the new trial, if happens in February, or if whatever happens with what the judge says. If there's going to be a trial, not going to be a trial, we will see. But I'm glad that we went back over this case. Everyone knows that there was some juror misconduct. He's got life without parole. I kind of preferred, Sam Quentin for him. He was probably more comfortable there. But he still might get a new trial. I'm very anxious to see what Janie Peterson's going to do. I have reached out to her to see what she has to say. I know she read my message. But let's see what she says up. Yeah, put the house up for sale, sold her car, Beverly. He got new channels, which were adult rated. The same when he went to his sister's house to hide out. I mean, he was hitting on the babysitter. He was ordering more adult subscriptions and things like that. No, this guy had no remorse, no cares in the world. No cares in the world. Because like Shelby said, why are you running? He just told the newscaster in Sacramento that this is all about Lacey. He didn't talk to the media because he wanted people to really want to talk to him so that her case didn't go cold. It wasn't going to go cold. It wasn't going to go cold. He knew that there was a ton of attention, national media. He did not expect this to get outside of Modesto. He thought he could control it, and it blew up to the point that we're still talking about it in 2021. This happened in 2002. And also, he likes his attention in jail. This piece of shit, Scott Peterson, he gets bags of letters from women every day. The next time we talk about this case, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that next time because I really want to know what goes on in someone's day that they pay $5 to email a criminal and $5 for them to email them back. You know, I really want to know. So, hey, we had some new people in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please consider being a member. And we're going to be back Monday morning. I've got something worked up for Summer Wells, and we're going to be doing another episode about the Duggar outcome. Anna might lose the children, so it's going to be called, it's all about Anna Duggar, really. We're going to be talking about Jussie Smollett next week, Michael Vaughn, and anything that happens with this Scott Peterson debacle, we're going to cover. You guys are the best chat on YouTube. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I honestly think it is because I see other chats. I have a hard time not spraining my eyeballs from rolling them. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. If you want to join the Discord, don't forget just to send me an email and I'll get you something over there. Hey, Rose, thank you very much. We will see you guys Monday or in Discord. Bye-bye.